take it out! Fast! It's extra light over in the corner.
Kind of hard to...
Yeah.
Maybe if I do it sideways.
Mm-hmm. Somehow it's still managed. It just breaks through the windshield. Wow, this car's cheap. So depending on how you look at it, this is either an early review for Leap or a late review for Ballerina.
Yeah. This was a little disappointing, I gotta say, from the hype of the bad voice acting from Matthew.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, originally in the UK, Ballerina, which is known as Leap in the States, had a different voice actor for the lead guy, and there's some other voice acting changes, too. And what Matthew said was that it was one of the worst voice acting performances he'd ever seen.
He said it was one of the more miscast and I'd seen a few people say that, like that it was one of the more miscast that they've seen in a while.
But I wouldn't have thought anything of it if it had just been as is in theaters.
We did. We did see the Ballerina version. Leap is. I've been seeing trailers for this for quite a while, and I'm pretty sure the first time they showed trailers for this, it was called Leap, but I'm pretty sure it was the original voice actors in the first trailer we got for this movie. Somewhere in the last year, they did some new voice work on this. Dane DeHaan is the lead, has been replaced by Nat Wolff, and also some other voice actors in it have been replaced by Mel Brooks and Kate McKinnon. The only thing I can think of is, like, maybe they wanted some voices in there to try to ham things up a bit for the American audience.
It might be they were also getting, like, more recognizable American celebrities in it as well.
I liked the fact that I watched this whole movie not really... I mean, don't get me wrong. In Ballerina, there are some names in it, but none that I instantly recognized just by voice. And I liked that about this movie. That Leap technically hasn't had a release in the States yet. It did have a sneak preview in Springfield yesterday at like 2:30 in the morning. But honestly, I was way more curious to see the Ballerina version, so that's what we watched. We watched Ballerina, and I really got... watching this movie, I've seen Dane DeHaan really miscast in things before. Severely so, between Cure for Wellness and especially Valerian. And I like Dane DeHaan, but there's been a couple... His most recent movies, I was sitting there like... Damn, he's miscast in these. This one, honestly, I wouldn't have even known it was him at first if I didn't know going in that it was Dane DeHaan. I also wouldn't have really thought anything about the voice. I thought he was fine. Granted, yeah, the last thing I saw him in was Valerian, where he was severely miscast. Here, I'm kind of like, wow, I feel kind of bad for him that his voice has been replaced.
Yeah, I mean, he was the only thing that genuinely made me laugh in the movie. And don't get me wrong, like, the movie was fine. Like,
yeah, honestly,
I appreciated, from an aesthetic standpoint, it looked really pretty.
It really
did.
It
looked different than you would expect from 3D animated movies that you would see from DreamWorks or Illumination, or things that are a lot more cynical than this. Because, this... It was a very predictable movie, but...
It has a lot of heart to it.
It has heart to it. And it doesn't have same-face syndrome. Like, all of them, they look like distinct characters. They don't look ugly either. Like, there's some productions that go too far in the other direction.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks pretty, and it's trying to do something different. It felt like less cynical than a lot of the stuff that especially we watch.
Like, honestly, when Leap actually does come out, which I think is in like a week or two, I would... If you're a family and you got some kids and you want to see one of the animated movies out there, honestly... Even though I wouldn't say this is a great movie, I thought it was a pretty good one. It
was decent, I would say.
I would recommend this based solely on the fact that what are your other fucking choices? Emoji Movie? Despicable Me 3? Like, yeah.
I mean, this was a nice little story.
Yeah.
She wants to do ballet, and she trains really hard for it, and then she does ballet.
And there are stakes, too. Like, it isn't just simply... And don't get me wrong, I like a good dance movie every once in a while. But this one, really, it takes place in the late 1800s. So I'll get to that in a second. But, like, it takes place in the late 1800s. And if she doesn't really nail this audition, then she goes back to, like, the orphanage, and she never sees this woman again who's kind of like her trainer and like a mother figure for her. It's like, wow, there actually are some really good, like, stakes here.
It was nice, too, that the way the trailers make it makes it seem like this is a movie about both her and her inventor friend. But really... It's about her, and he is a side figure in this story, and he sort of has his own thing going on in the background of this. I appreciated that this was a story, an animated movie about a girl that wasn't about, like, she wants to be a princess or something, or, like, it was just, like, a nice story about her wanting to be a dancer. She wasn't, like, overly girly or overly tomboyish. Like, she felt like a really developed likable character.
Yeah, you instantly feel for her the second she's on screen. This movie does have really likable characters in it. And so is Dane DeHaan's character. Yeah. Like, the characters in it that are supposed to be villainous, they work. You instantly root against them. The characters that are supposed to be our heroes, you want them to win by the end of this film. And it is well made. When I was seeing a lot of trailers for this, you know what, this movie is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Because from the trailers, and it really isn't this movie's fault, I could tell from the trailers at first where I was like, I think this is a foreign movie that they're repackaging to make look like an American film, and the last time we saw that was The Wildlife. So that is, like, not this movie's fault at all. This movie, I think, is a French-Canadian film. And
I mean, you could tell definitely it wasn't American-made because... stuff in the U.S. is really samey and very manufactured to be a specific kind of way. There is a package to it that it does not look like. So I could tell that it wasn't originally from here. But it also was exactly what I thought it was going to be, because I didn't think it looked as bad as Wildlife. Yeah. It looked like a decent movie period piece about kids that's kind of like, it's kind of nice to watch, and that's what I felt like watching it.
And it's really well made, and like there are parts where you can really tell, like, okay, like, yeah, like a foreign studio made this, especially when it gets to the end where the villain is chasing the girl and it's like a fucking slasher film. Like, she's chasing her with like a fucking sledgehammer, like rolling it against the floor, like she's a fucking like Silent Hill villain.
Whenever it went into the weird action things, and it wasn't that much, you could tell it was like for 3D. Like, we're gonna have the 3D flying action scenes in it. Yeah, certainly. Like hanging off of the Statue of Liberty. Though, I mean, I liked that they set this as a period piece, and while there are some flaws with that, the parts that do call to that time are interesting set pieces, like having the Eiffel Tower is being built currently. Yeah. They are making the Statue of Liberty. Those are interesting things to set it in, instead of just like, here's some animals and they're going over the hedge.
Right, yeah, they gotta open up the first bakery in Paris. Yeah.
It was a better period piece than Nut Job.
Yeah, and you know what, there are times in this movie where I thought nothing of, like, anachronisms, and then there were times that I did. That at first, when it was playing, like, the first couple of songs in it...
The songs always felt out of place to me, the pop songs.
When it got deeper into the movie, honestly, maybe even in the first one, first or second one, I didn't think really much of it, because I was like, the tone they're setting, at first, I was like, alright, it feels like this kind of song would be playing in an animated film with this tone when she's doing stuff with dishes in the kitchen. But when it got deeper into it, and it's like her ballerina training and the dance-off at the end, and it's playing like club music, I was like, wow, this would have been way better if it was like, if you just took the soundtrack to Black Swan or something and just played it. Like, it would have been so much better if we got...
It's weirder because it's set to ballet. Which isn't to say that there's not modern ballet that is set to music like this, but that's not the kind of movie that they're doing.
Uh-huh.
It's very old. It takes place in the late 1800s. They're doing ballet. It never quite seems in time or in place with what that is.
But
Even if they had, like, taken old orchestral soundtracks, like a public domain song, like they do Swan Lake and stuff like that.
They do in this movie.
If they'd taken that, but maybe remixed it a little bit, I think maybe that would fit better.
I mean, it certainly fit better in this with the ballerina, like the public domain, like Swan Lake type stuff. It certainly worked better in this than like when Phelan watches like a Good Times the Little Mermaid and they're playing that in the movie.
Well, at least in this, like she's literally doing Swan Lake.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So right. Yeah. So that, like, I wanted more of that in this instead of this kind of like knockoff Let It Go music that was playing every now and then.
That just felt kind of pandery, but they never picked songs that were that good, because I didn't really recognize a lot of them.
Generic.
They sounded like knockoffs of something that you would hear on the pop charts, but not.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I'm like, okay, this I wish was changed for an American release.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be.
No,
maybe it is,
I
doubt it. But like, I would be all for that particular change. And sometimes the clothing styles they're wearing in the movie are fine. Like when they're going around or they're wearing like rags and they're wearing dirty clothes and stuff like that. One kid looks straight out of Oliver. The villain looks like a cross between like the wicked stepmother and mom from Futurama.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. She's got that big Dracula hair.
She does, yeah. She's got that big hair going on. But then there's other parts.
I love too, when she first showed up, immediately Laura's just like, oh, she's a bad guy.
Villain.
She's the only one that looks like sinister, wearing all black, pale, big hair. Yeah, I'm gonna be mean to this servant lady.
Right? She kicks over the bucket of water. I'm like, it's your house.
Did they ever really explain, like, I thought, maybe I missed it, but I thought she was mean, like, because there was a backstory, like, the other lady was her sister, or her daughter, or they were rivals.
I guess
back then.
Couldn't be exactly like Cinderella.
Like, I thought maybe it was like, it turns out she was the one that set the fire and she was jealous of her because they were both dancers. But I don't think they ever said that. I think she was just an asshole.
I think she was just evil. I think she was just like really, really fucking evil.
She's like, aha, now you'll both be, you were once good dancers. Knock you off the Statue of Liberty. What?
You got that fire inside of you, Tony.
Jump!
Jump, damn it! You keep your war off my stage! But then there would be other things, like, with what they're wearing, where sometimes the girl is wearing, like, jean cutoffs and, tights underneath it. That she looks like she's dressed like Sarah on, like, her off days.
Yeah,
like,
she just looks like the April O'Neil from the newest Turtles show.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally modern looking.
Mm-hmm.
That one, I don't know about that one. There are some parts of it that are anachronistic, but not like, they don't seem purposeful enough to be like, oh, that's kind of cool, they put that in there.
But it was like, it was never to the extent of like,
Gangnam Style randomly playing?
I guess maybe because there's just a much more giant leap in time between the music we're hearing and the era this is set in, where it's like, okay, I guess I've seen this before, where there's something kind of modern playing and something that's set here. Versus,
I mean, it's a purposeful contrast. I just don't know if the music still doesn't fit
I
very
agree.
well,
I totally agree with that.
But you can tell that they've done it with a purpose in mind, and not just, we got to play Gangnam Style because Psy is helping back this or whatever.
When like it's in the 1950s and the nut job, but they're playing 70s music, like that is wildly more distracting.
Yeah.
But on the plus side of that, Born to Be Wild is a much better song than some of the modern knockoffs they were playing in this film.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I kept
because I can say, of all the anachronistic songs they played in this, not one of them was good.
No. Lord, no.
They were like, in one ear, out the other, like, inoffensive background noise.
I can't say I was like,
which is
sitting
it sucks
there
though
like,
because that's featured with the dancing. I think that's what made it so bad, because if you're gonna feature it, you better have a damn good song going with it. It felt like something that would just be in the background of something.
When the kid is the dude, the Dane DeHaan character, or the Nat Wolff character, is an inventor in this, and I did like his plot line in the movie, but there's one thing that I kept thinking about a lot. One of the things that he invents are these wings that he's like, these old timey looking like wings that he's got strapped to him, and he like jumps off like the Eiffel Tower and they're flying through it. There was this guy, I don't know if you ever heard about this, who did that.
Didn't he kill himself?
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah. There's video of it.
There is. I've seen it.
Like, it's old, but there's video of it.
There is, because it was around early, like, 1900s, I believe. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, he was like a daredevil inventor type guy, and he invented that and got on the Eiffel Tower, and spoiler, it didn't work. And when you look at the video, it looks like a silent film, because it's shot like with one of those old cameras, so those are always kind of look a little sped up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. It looks like you're watching the worst silent film ever. So I felt bad, but I kept thinking about that a couple of times when he was flying through there.
Or he flies too close to the sun.
That fucking footage, because yeah, you could logistically put like ding 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 ding.
Man.
Oh, early 1900s. Yes, not everyone could be as good of an inventor as Professor Feet.
If they'd maybe tied in his story with the new title, Leap, into like, his wings are gonna work because he's got to save her, he's got to take a leap of faith. You know, like maybe had that sort of like, because as it is, he's really just a side character in this.
He really is. The trailers that we get, because I guess when the title is Ballerina, it's like, well, okay, yeah, she's the lead. But in the trailers that they've marketed here with, the title Leap and everything, it looks like it's like a co-lead movie. Like, there's his plot line and then there's hers. Really, like you said, he comes into it every now and then, and he's gone for a while, comes back.
They wrote him out so clunkily. Some of his dialogue was really shaky. Like, there was twice in the movie where he just falls off of something and gets like carried away on a boat or carried away on a truck and just going, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
And then he does, and then the same thing happens. They have this ongoing thing about how he's in love with her, and for the most part, I mean, like most of the stuff in the movie, like, you know what beats it's gonna hit, so you know where this is going. But like, for the most part, they sort of play it like, you know, he's practicing talking to her, but he can't get up the courage to do it, or, you know, like he's secretly in love, but he's setting up a date, but then it goes wrong.
And the guy that she's into, who, again, talk about doesn't look like he's from this fucking, he looks like fucking Aaron Carter.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that guy's probably gonna turn out to be a douche, which he should have picked up on when he was dancing with her on the roof and he threw her.
What did he expect to happen? She almost falls off. It's like, there's no way he wasn't trying to just show girls, get rid of the competition.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a line of dialogue from the inventor kid that's so clunky. When they go to this tavern and they're dancing, and then like she's like, "I love this," and he's like, "Did you say you loved me or the bar?"
Yeah.
Clunky. Like, that was so bad.
It was no dust delicious.
Surly Squirrel shows up.
God, it was, you know what, it maybe would have been worth seeing this in the theater only so we could get the trailer for Gnome Alone in front of it again.
You know, we're going to be seeing that a lot.
Is that the trailer, or was it Duck Duck Goose, where it looked like, where it said it was coming out in like fucking March or April? We're like, we're going to be seeing this bullshit for several months?
I think it was Duck Duck Goose.
Oh, God.
That was really early, yeah. But I think it's guaranteed with any of these kids' movies. It is always going to be a long time that we're going to be seeing these ads for it.
Most of the time, I only noticed that with Illumination movies. Like, with this movie,
following this trend, though.
This movie, though, I'd seen trailers for this a while, but in the case of this movie, its release date was pushed back quite a bit. Fucking Illumination just shows their shit a year in advance for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking in this movie too. I was like, because like she's like, you know, she's a unpaid servant washing shit and everything and wants to be a ballerina. I said something to you like I also know why this is taking place in Paris, because if this were taking 1800s, if this were taking place in the States, this would be the weirdest slave movie I've ever seen in my fucking life. Like,
it'd be pretty watered down.
oh wait, with a plot line where the girl goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the best ballerina at the plantation." Oh, I could see that it's like a 70s movie, like around when like Black Rage came out or something like that. I could see that, because they could throw on the box cover, "Oh, go see this fucking movie. It's Mandingo meets Girls Just Want to Have Fun."
Black Mama, White Mama or something.
Oh, that's a good movie. The Pam Grier movie where it's, yeah, where it's kind of like the Defiant Ones, but with way more nudity.
Pam Grier wants to be a ballerina dancer,
Yes.
but she's got to take out the competition.
Oh my God, would I watch that movie? Oh.
The villain in this was dead by the end. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, because we thought it was gonna turn into like the end of like Tarzan, where is she gonna just be straight up hung by her neck by the end?
They downplay it severely, but she's hanging off of the ropes and stuff, off of the Statue of Liberty it's got all these like the building platforms and stuff, and that's crumbling around her.
Yeah.
So they cut away and they're flying away like, yeah, as you see the rest of it fall. Mm-hmm. All of it. So that means she's dead.
Yeah.
It collapsed with her in it, so she's dead.
She was
That
not
girl
in the
lost
last
her
scene.
mom.
Oh yeah. And they go, yeah, right. And like after the dance off, the evil little girl was fine. They had a handshake and everything. Fuck that. I don't care about
Did she go to check if her mom was okay, or she just left for that
She's probably better off without her, honestly. Like, yeah, it's like, oh,
She went to the orphanage.
Yeah. Oh, the tables have turned. Yeah, when the main girl loses the audition early on, and then the wagon is carrying her away, like she's Tramp from the scene in Lady and the Tramp,
Yeah.
where the old lady thinks that Tramp knocked the baby carriage over.
Well, he goes like, "Remember our deal." So does that mean like he called the orphanage to take her away?
Yeah.
All he said was, "You're not in it, and you have to leave the dance school." Well, I don't know. Maybe
taken
the
away
evil
by
lady.
wagon.
Yeah.
So Jock and Trusty could run alongside. Get out of here!
Run over the dog.
Where did they come from?
They're in a different movie.
Different movie is happening. That's kind of the case with the end of this, where it does turn into a weird slasher film.
That was strange, because there was only that and like the carriage chase scene that really had that tone. The rest of it was sort of, you knew what beats it was following, although everything seemed very easy. Because every time it would be like a conflict was coming up, it would be like someone was very kind to her. And I'm like, I don't know, late 1800s and little orphan girls, I don't know.
We were
I don't think
joking
it would work out
that,
this easy.
like, we were joking, like, what if they go, like, so what if this is taking place, if this were to take place somewhere else and Jack the Ripper shows up?
We were joking about how, like, Jack the Ripper's in the background trying to get them, but they always barely miss him, and they don't know what's going on, like, oh, darn it.
We started thinking, too, like, is there an animated Jack the Ripper movie?
Did you find if there was one?
I found like a short film from like 2013. But I was like, that seems like something that would happen from like that company that put out the animated Jekyll and Hyde movie. The
animated Jekyll and Hyde was almost a Jack the Ripper one, really.
It might as fucking well have been.
Go around killing people in London.
I kind of remember seeing that too on Nickelodeon back in the day.
It was like Edge of Sanity, but more fun.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of remember that from back in the day. Like, I'm pretty sure Special Delivery showed that at one point. Like, Special Delivery on Nickelodeon. Murder. That's the one that they also showed that anime Beauty and the Beast, like, when he was the cat-looking creature or whatever. Like, I remember that.
Novel cover there.
Yeah. I remember that. The Lassie movie with Jimmy Stewart.
The Magic of Lassie.
The Magic of Lassie. Yeah. I remember the evil guy kidnaps Lassie, like, your name is now Heather Bell. I remember that fucking movie. You know what? I did like this movie. It was better than I thought it would be. It is a really likable movie.
Yeah, it's harmless, is the thing.
It's totally harmless. It's a good looking movie. Granted, again, we are reviewing the Ballerina version, so I don't know how drastically different Leap is gonna be.
I can't imagine it's too different, even if it has really wacky voice acting. Like,
and I'm sure that's gonna be the case.
I don't think that'll change the tone of the movie too much.
No, because I mean, it's not like this movie was perfect by any means, but it was good. And in terms of some other animated kids movies that are playing now, like, yeah, this is your better bet versus Emoji Movie versus Despicable Me 3. With Nut Job 2, depending on what kind of mood you're in, sometimes you're just in the mood for Nut Job 2. Any final thoughts about this?
I'm dying in this car right now.
Oh, yeah, God.
And I feel like I'm just gonna melt away.
Fair.
Yeah, so I don't know. Final recommendation, like, it is a decent movie.
Yeah.
As far as what kids movies are out right now, it's the best one. Like, it's not like Nut Job 2 is funny bad, but this is a better made movie. It's got more heart to it. So if you care about that sort of thing and you have kids, or even if you just are a fan of kids movies, like, this is perfectly fine.
All right, well, by the time this is posted, we're at Wizard World in Chicago, so when I get back from that, I think a couple of us are going to go see, there's a new religious movie that's out, All Saints, so I think some of us are going to try to see that. See it.